Hello everyone, today I have a 45-minute yoga sequence for you. The only thing you'll need is a mat and enough space so that you can move around and stretch out. I'll be providing modifications through the whole class so you can choose your challenge. I hope you enjoy. We'll get started in mountain pose with our heels underneath our hips, stacking underneath our shoulders, lifting the chest, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, palms facing forward, pulling the spine up tall, maybe letting our eyes drift closed. Taking this moment in our busy day to come back to our breath. Observing where we're at emotionally and physically. Noticing, for maybe the first time today, what exactly our breath feels like. Noticing how the ribs expand and contract. Maybe we can feel our heart beating. Using the breath as a connection between the mind and body. As we're ready, we can keep the eyes closed or maybe keep a soft gaze. We'll inhale to sweep the arms up and exhale, lowering the right hand, reaching to the right for a side body stretch, keeping the weight pressing evenly into both feet. And inhale to center and exhale to the left. Focusing on reaching our fingertips toward the ceiling. Inhale to center and exhale. Continuing to flow with our breath. Maybe following our lifted hand with our gaze. Warming up the neck and the side muscles. Inhale to center and exhale, reaching and lengthening through the side. Inhale. And exhale, reaching to the other side. We'll do one more. Coming back to center, pressing our palms together, coming through heart center, and sinking down into a shallow chair pose. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, sinking our hips down into a chair pose. Weight pressing evenly through all four corners of the feet, making sure we keep a flat back. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale to chair pose. This time we'll hold it, focusing on keeping a wide belt around our waist, cinching in our abdominal muscles, pulling the belly button to the spine. On an exhale, we'll twist to the right, keeping our belly button towards our spine, and inhale to center. Exhale, twisting to the left, and exhale to center. Supporting each twist with our abdominal muscles. Feeling the joints in our back warm up with this twisting. We'll do one more each side. Coming back to center, we'll inhale, reaching the arms up, and exhale, hinging at the hips, diving forward, keeping a flat back as long as we can before finally rounding into forward fold. Gentle bend in the knees so that our hands can reach the mat. And inhale, we'll lift the chest, reaching the crown of the head forward, finding halfway lift. Hands to shin or thighs. And exhale, rounding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe we bring the hands to a T. And exhale to round. Inhale one more time, out to an airplane, or hands to thighs or shin. Rounding forward into forward fold. This time we'll bend the knees generous enough to plant the hands, stepping back into plank. Finding a straight line from our head to our heels, staying active through the shoulders, pressing the mat away. Our options here, we can lower one or both knees to reduce the intensity in our core. Focusing on this wide belt around our waist, activating through the core. Returning to our breath. We'll take one more inhale and exhale, lowering as slow as we can, all in one piece, so that our hips and our shoulders reach the mat at the same time. Untucking the toes, pressing the shoulders down and away from the ears. We'll inhale, reaching the chest forward for baby cobra. Light support from the hands, gazing down at the mat, finding length in the back of our neck. And exhale to lower. Tucking the toes, pushing up all in one piece, either through all fours or plank, and sending the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Ankles and wrists spread at hip distance. Weight pressing evenly into our feet and our hands. Finding a bend in the knees so our tailbone can lift to the ceiling. Reaching towards finding a flat back. Maybe we paddle out the feet. Coming to stillness when we're ready. We'll take an inhale and exhale, stepping the feet behind the wrists into forward fold. Inhale, stretching the back forward into halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming to flat back, sweeping the arms up, reverse swan dive, and hands to heart center. We'll do one more reach to each side, sweeping the arms up, and exhale, reaching to the right. Inhale, and exhale, reaching to the left. Back to center. On an exhale, we'll swan dive forward, keeping a flat back, hinging at the hips, finally rounding forward. Inhale, reaching the crown of the head, halfway lift. Exhale, bending the knees, planting the hands, stepping back into plank. Finding the straight line from the head to our heels. Maybe contracting our glutes to keep our hips in line with our shoulders. Remembering our options to lower the knees whenever we need. One more breath, inhale. And exhale, lowering as slow as we can to the mat. Untuck the toes. Inhale, reach the chest forward. Maybe we float the hands, letting the shoulder blades slide down our back. And exhale to lower, tucking the toes, pushing out through plank or all fours, bending the knees and sending the hips back to downward dog. Reaching our tailbone to the sky so we find a flat back. Pressing our chest toward our thighs. And letting our head and neck relax between our biceps. On our next inhale, lift the right leg into three-legged dog, keeping both hips squaring to the ground, toes also facing the mat. And exhale, step the right leg forward between the hands so that the knee is stacking over the ankle. Finding our balance, lifting up into crescent lunge. Back heels lifted, back leg is active. Deep bend in the front knee. Relaxing our shoulders down and away from our ears. Option to hold here or reach the hands to the ceiling. Gazing straight ahead. Either holding crescent lunge or adding a bit of movement. We'll take a big inhale and exhale, leaning the torso forward over the front leg, sweeping the hands back toward our hips, finding a flat back. Inhale to the ceiling and exhale, reaching the crown of the head forward. Inhale up and exhale, squeezing the shoulder blades together, pulling the core in. We'll do one more. Exhale, reaching forward, keeping a deep bend in the front knee. Coming back up to crescent lunge and circling the hands down to frame the foot, stepping back into plank. Inhale and exhale, tucking the elbows toward the ribs, lowering to the mat. Untuck the toes. Inhale, baby cobra. Maybe we float the hands. And exhale, lower, tucking the toes, pushing up through all fours or plank into down dog. Noticing how our legs feel a bit different now than they did in our first downward dog. Gentle bend in the knees to keep a flat back. With an exhale, reducing any tension that we're holding in the face or the neck. Although our bodies are active here, we feel calm. When we're ready, lift the left leg into three-legged dog. The weight stays even in both hands. Hips spinning down to the mat. And exhale, stepping the foot forward between the hands. Knees stacking over ankle. When we're ready, lifting into crescent lunge. The back heels reaching away from the mat. Focusing on stability here, or maybe reaching up to the ceiling. For the movement, we can inhale, reaching up. And exhale, leaning the torso over the front leg, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, leaning forward, pressing the palms together. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, keeping a deep bend in the front knee. Last one. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, sweeping the hands down, framing the foot, stepping back into plank, bending the knees, sending the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Heels are reaching to the mat. It's okay if they don't get there. Enjoying the stretch in the back of our legs. On an exhale, stepping the feet forward behind the wrists into forward fold. Gentle bend in the knees. Hands can stay on the mat. Inhale, reaching the head forward into halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms out, coming through flat back. Reverse swan dive. And hands to heart center. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, sinking the tailbone down and back into chair pose. Engaging the glutes to find a flat back. Noticing if our low back is arching. Letting the shoulders relax down the back. letting the heat build in our quadriceps. Maybe we exhale and sink a little deeper. Weight pressing evenly through our toes and our heels. On our next exhale, sending the hips to the ceiling, rounding forward into forward fold. Inhale, reaching the chest forward, halfway lift. And exhale, rounding forward, bending the knees, stepping back into plank. Holding plank for a breath as we focus on engaging our core, pulling our belly button to our spine, pushing the mat away through our shoulders. We'll inhale and exhale, lower to the mat. Untuck the toes. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, lowering to the mat, tucking the toes, pushing up through plank or all fours into downward facing dog. On an inhale, lifting the right leg into three-legged dog. And exhale, step the foot forward between the hands, lifting up into crescent lunge, making sure that our knee is stacked over ankle. Back heels lifting away from the mat. This time we'll bring our hands to heart center. We have the option to stay here, or maybe we lean our torso over the front leg and twist to the right. Supporting this twist with our abdominal muscles. Keeping the hands in the center of our chest, palms pressing together. Maybe we gaze over the right shoulder. Keeping a long line from our back heel to our head. Exhale, coming back to center. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. And exhale, framing the foot, stepping back into plank. Our last plank of the day. We'll inhale and exhale, lowering to the mat, making this maybe our slowest one yet. Untuck the toes. Inhale, reaching the chest forward, focusing on using the muscles that run along our spine to pull our chest up. Exhale to lower, tucking the toes, pushing up through plank or all fours, and into down dog. Inhale the left leg up, three-legged dog, hips square with the ground. And exhale, step it forward between the wrists, knee stacking over ankle, lifting into crescent lunge. Deep bend in the front knee, back leg is active, hips are squaring to the front of the room. Bringing our hands to heart center, either staying here or leaning forward, finding the long line from the heel through our shoulders and our head, and exhale, twisting to the left. Maybe we gaze over our left shoulder. Palms actively pressing together to keep the shoulders engaged. Hands in the center of our chest. One more breath. On an exhale, coming back to center. Inhale, reaching the arms up. And exhale, planting the hands, stepping back into plank, and sending the hips up and back to downward dog. Pausing here for a moment as we catch our breath. Thinking about a long line from our tailbone to our fingers, letting our head and neck hang. Chest pressing towards our thighs. On our next exhale, walking the feet behind the wrists, keeping a gentle bend in the knees into forward fold. Letting our spinal column decompress. Maybe we take hold of opposite elbows. Deep bend in the knees, gently rocking side to side, or shaking our head yes or no. Continuing to form this connection with our breath. When we're ready, slowly rolling up one vertebra at a time. When we finally get to the top, we'll inhale, sweeping the arms up, taking a big stretch, and exhale, back to mountain. Inhale, sweep the arms up, and exhale, sinking the tailbone back into chair pose. Maybe we shift the weight into the right foot, gradually lifting the left as we feel balanced, keeping our toes near the mat if we need extra support. On an exhale, sink a little bit deeper. And inhale, standing up, bringing the hands to the hips and stepping the left foot back into pyramid pose. About 12 inches behind the front foot, both toes facing forward. On an inhale, we'll roll the shoulders back. And exhale, hinging the hips forward, keeping a flat back, chest is open. Feeling the right leg engage. Our hamstrings and our glutes are working. Pressing our shoulder blades down our back. Finding length in the back of the spine. Keeping the hands here. Or we have the option to bring them to heart center. Or maybe reach them up above. One more breath. On an inhale, we'll unhinge, reaching our hands up to the ceiling, shifting our weight into the right foot. The left toes become light on the mat, and hinging forward into Warrior 3. Working on our balance here. If we feel shaky, maybe we keep the left toes close to the mat, focusing on keeping a straight line from our tailbone to our shoulders. Hinging towards parallel to the ground as we feel balanced and flexibility allows. Maybe we bring our hands to heart center. Finding a place in front of us to focus our gaze. Shoulders are relaxed. On our next inhale, carefully unhinge, coming back up to stand, and shaking it out. We'll move into the other side now. When we're ready, inhale, reach up, and exhale, sitting back into chair pose, focusing on keeping a flat back, engaging our glutes to avoid arching in the low back, shifting our weight into our left foot, carefully picking up our right as we feel balanced. Maybe using our toes lightly for extra support. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Inhale, straightening the standing leg, bringing your hands to our hips and stepping the right foot back about 6 to 12 inches into pyramid pose. Rolling the shoulders back. And exhale, hinging at the hips, until we feel the front hamstrings engage. Chest is rolling open. Shoulder blades are squeezing down the back. Maybe we bring the hands to heart center or send them up by our ears. Feeling strong and stable here. Strengthening as we stretch the front leg. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. On an inhale, we'll unhinge, coming up to stand. The weight becomes light in the back foot. And on an exhale, hinging forward into warrior three. Hips square to the mat. Back toes facing the mat. Remembering that we can keep our back foot close to the mat for extra support. Option to bring our hands to heart center to reduce the intensity in our shoulders. Working on balance, rooting down through the standing leg. One more breath. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, shaking it out. Great job, everybody. Taking a breather for a second. Either standing here in mountain pose to rejoin our breath, or maybe we interlace our fingers behind our hips, pressing the forearms together for chest expansion. To deepen this pose, keeping a flat back, we can hinge forward, finally rounding, letting our wrists reach to the mat over our head. Taking deep breaths. When we're ready, we'll lift into a flat back, unhinging, coming back up to mountain, and shaking it out, preparing for our next pose, sunflower. When we're ready, stepping the feet wider than hip distance, toes facing to the edges of our mat, or maybe at a diagonal. On an inhale, we'll sweep the arms up to the sky, reaching, and exhale, pulling the elbows down into a goalpost, sinking the hips back. On an inhale, rounding forward into a C shape, reaching towards the ground. Exhale, coming back to our goalpost, straightening the spine, and inhale, reaching up. Repeating that with our breath. Exhale, sinking down. Inhale, rounding forward, using our core muscles. Inhale, flattening the back, keeping the knees bent. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Flowing at a pace that works for us. Maybe with each breath, we sink a little deeper. One more. Reaching up, and as we get here, bringing our hands to a T, left toes face to the front, right toes reach in the same direction as our fingertips, reaching our upper body towards the right when we can't reach any farther, spinning our hands and tilting into triangle. Maybe we gaze at the left hand or down at the ground. As we feel more stable, maybe we reach down towards our shin, imagining our body being squeezed between two walls so that we're in one plane and the chest is rolling open, perpendicular to the ground. Inhale, coming back to a T pose. Spinning both heels out into sunflower. Maybe our toes are facing to the corners of our mat in a diagonal. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale into goalpost, sinking the tailbone down. Inhale, rounding into a C shape, reaching towards the ground. Exhale, back to goalpost. And inhale, reaching up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Feeling the heat build in our quadriceps. Maybe we squeeze our glutes to keep our glutes engaged, helping us to reach up. Last one. Exhaling our hands down to a T, spinning our right toes to face straight ahead, left toes face in the direction of our fingertips. Reaching the left hand forward as far as we can. When we can't reach any farther, tilting into triangle. Maybe we find a partial tilt, or as flexibility allows, reaching a little farther, as long as we're able to keep our chest open. Gazing at the right hand, left hand reaching towards our shin. One more breath. Inhale, coming back to a T. Walking our feet slightly closer together. Hands to heart center. And exhale, sinking the hips and the tailbone down towards the mat into a yogi squat. Keeping our heels and our toes on the mat. As we reach the bottom, maybe we use our elbows to gently press our knees apart. Finding the stretch in the back of our calves, maybe our inner thighs. As we're ready, sitting the hips down, setting up for table pose. Fingers facing the outside of our mat, slightly behind our shoulders, ankles slightly in front of knees, so that when we lift our hips, we find our ankles under our knees and our wrists under our shoulders. Finding a straight line from our knees to our shoulders. Our chin tucked slightly. If this is uncomfortable in our shoulders, maybe we point the fingers behind us. Or to deepen the stretch, we can roll our fingers towards our feet, finding what is comfortable for our shoulder joint. And on an exhale, lowering our hips, pressing the soles of the feet together, leaning forward into butterfly, letting the knees fall open towards the ground. Maybe giving the wrists a quick roll. We'll head into tabletop one more time. When we're ready, sitting back, setting up our hands behind our shoulders and our ankles in front of our knees. Inhale to roll the chest open, and exhale, lifting the hips, finding a straight line from our knees to our shoulders. Chin tucking toward our chest, holding here, or maybe we try without letting our hips lower, lifting one leg, replacing it on the mat, and lifting the other leg. Staying stationary through our hips. Noticing how it changes our muscle engagement in the back of our legs. Coming back to our tabletop and lowering our hips with an exhale. Sending our feet long in front of us, toes flexing to the ceiling, knees slightly bent, rolling out the wrists as we inhale and exhale, reaching our belly button toward our thighs into forward fold. Keeping a flat back, absorbing the stretch in the back of our legs. Same hamstrings that just kept us elevated during tabletop. Unhinging at the hips. One more time. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. And exhale, pressing the ribs towards the thighs. Maybe reaching our hands toward our shins or our ankles. Gazing down at the mat to find length from our tailbone through our head. Coming back to center, keeping our left leg extended, drawing our right shin towards our chest as we keep a flat back. Both toes flexing to the ceiling, left hand to the outside of the right foot. Right knee either held by the right hand or tucking it in the elbow, stretching out our right glute, holding our shin as if we're cradling a baby. Pulling our shin toward our chest only as far as we're able to keep a flat back and a broad chest. Letting our breath slow down. We're reaching the end of this yoga sequence. As we're ready, guiding the right foot over the left thigh, wrapping the left hand around the leg, and twisting to the right. Right fingertips on the mat behind us. Gazing over our right shoulder. Keeping our abdominal muscles engaged. Support the twist. One more inhale. And exhale. Coming back to center and switching out the legs. Extending the right leg. Drawing our left shin toward our chest. Keeping a flat back. Left hand to the outside of the left knee. We're tucking the knee in our elbow. Right hand to the outside of the foot. Stretching our left glute. Thinking about pulling our spine up tall to the ceiling. When we're ready, guiding the foot over the thigh, both hips pressing into the mat as we twist to the left. Right hand wrapping around the knee, gazing over our left shoulder. On the inhales, think about lengthening the spine, and exhales, twisting a little bit deeper. One more breath. With an exhale, coming back to center. Spreading the ankles, toes flexing to the ceiling. Maybe our knees bend slightly if our hamstrings are tight. And as flexibility allows, maybe we walk our hands forward, finding a stretch in our inner thighs. Letting our muscles sink into this pose after all they've done for us today. Maybe the longer we hold this pose, the closer we come to walking our hands out a little farther. Stretching only as far as what feels good for us today. When we're ready, lifting up, taking hold of the back of the thighs as we lower our shoulders to the mat for our final pose. Legs outstretched, feet falling open, palms to the ceiling. Tucking our chin slightly to find length in the back of our neck. And letting our eyes drift closed. Our final pose today. Letting our breath flow to a natural rhythm. Noticing the rhythm of our breath and our heart. Heart and lungs working diligently to provide for what our body needs. Letting the tension melt away from our face and our neck with an exhale. Observing the thoughts in our head. And with our next exhale, gently letting them go. Giving ourselves permission to be fully present within our bodies right now. Appreciating our muscles and all the work they've done for us. And allowing them to sink a little deeper into the mat, feeling warm and heavy. The entire weight of our body pressing down into the mat. And noticing exactly what that feels like. If we notice our mind start to wander, it's okay, it's natural. Bringing it back to our body. Staying here as long as we like, but if we're ready, gently wiggling the fingers and the toes, rolling the wrists and the ankles, bending the knees, and rolling onto either side, using our bicep as a pillow. Taking this moment to think of someone or something that we are especially thankful for today. Noticing this feeling in our bodies and our minds, and carrying it with us through the rest of our day. When we're ready, coming to a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Maybe our eyes stay closed. We'll take one final breath together. Inhale, sweeping the arms up to the ceiling, palms touching at the top. And exhale through heart center, bowing together. Namaste.